Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barachak Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the Brother Yatazakba with the GMS Nebraska camp. And in this lesson, I just want to go over this recent news update, which is, more steps in the direction of the MOTB. I have this article from foxnews.com titled, New Tech-Focused MAHA Initiatives Will Usher in New Era of Convenience, Improve Health Outcomes, Trump says. And MAHA stands for Make America Healthy Again, which, that movement is really being headed by RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, I will say, the elder Yashalam, his YouTube page being GMS Watchman, has done a video on this that I've seen, which was real good. He played the actual video of what we're about to read about, and I do recommend, you watch that video as well as the Apostle Tahar's video, based off of the elder Yashalam's video. His YouTube channel being what is the 666 Mark II, GMS Truth, I believe, is his channel's name. So without further ado, we have to continue to talk about this topic of the MOTB. It's very repetitive. It's very, we talk about it to ad nauseum, as the Apostle Gabar would say, which that word ad nauseum means to basically repeat it to where it becomes, annoying, that's not the exact definition, but that's, essentially the definition. And we have to continue to say this because the scriptures tell us to do what? In Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 6, it says, "But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand." And we see the sword coming. We see these prophecies coming. And these things are paramount to life and death. This prophecy of the MOTB is a matter of life and death. This is a matter of our salvation that we're speaking about. This is a matter of if we will be destroyed at the Lord's second coming. We are prophesying this to our people, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and really the whole world. But this message, this gospel, is really toward the Israelites, because they are the only people who have a opportunity at being saved. And we're putting this message out there and letting our people know, the times to come and what we have to expect. It says in verse 7, so thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. And what is a watchman? A watchman is a prophet. A watchman is on the watchtower, looking to see if how close the danger is, how long we have left, what, signs point toward the danger. And a watchman is to warn the people about said danger. And we have been set up to do this by Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It is our responsibility, it is our duty. So we have to continue to bring out these prophecies, because this is the most important thing, to be talking about in this time. It says, so thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. So we're going to continue to speak about this topic, until the famine of the word comes, because this is one of the most important things to be talked about in this time. So let's go ahead and get into this article. It says, President Donald Trump and several key health advisors and his cabinet held a formal event Wednesday at the White House, unveiling new efforts to improve healthcare technology and partnership with private sector technology companies. Now, if a person isn't in the know, they'll read into this article, hear about this news, and just think that, the U.S. government is trying to create better tech for, the American people to have better health. But as we read into this article, and when we look at things that have led up to this initiative, we understand that this is really pointing towards the MOTB, because what has RFK Jr. said recently? That he wants to initiate on the American people. He said that he wants everybody to be wearing wearables. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was just for the American people. I think he said he wanted it to be a global thing. He said that he wanted everybody to be wearing wearables. And I could be wrong about that. Could be the American people, but those wearables, long story short, would be health tracking wearables, where it would have, it'd be able to, read your heartbeat, let you know if anything's wrong with you, read your steps, let you know certain things about your health. And it's plain to see that those wearables are eventually going to lead to not wearing something externally, but it's going to be wearing, having something internally administered inside of you, which is, in the vein of Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, where it talks about causing both all small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that mark of the beast, the MOTB. You're going to have different, you're going to have different angles that Esau is going to push this MOTB to make it seem like it is something good for the people, make it seem like it's something that is, for the public's betterment. But they always have an ulterior motive. What Esau really wants is total control. He wants to be, humanity's God. And he will try to do that by way of total surveillance, by way of total control, which will come by way of what? The MOTB. Because when you get that, you are essentially branding yourself as possession of Esau. But it's not, Esau isn't just going to immediately come with the MOTB. He's going to come with technologies that lead up to it, such as the wearables, such as what we're about to read about here in this article. It says, the Make Health Tech Great Again event laid out a new voluntary commitment from several major tech and tech healthcare firms aimed at developing a better process for digital health record sharing, which Trump admin officials said will ultimately improve health outcomes for Americans. In addition to the commitment, the new health tech efforts will also include the development of personalized tools meant to help patients obtain greater control of their health information to make more informed decisions. Now, there's no coincidence that ever since Trump has come into office, he has had a heavy emphasis on upping technology. We see it in the financial sector, where now he's pushing stablecoin, which is a digital currency that's essentially a CBDC, where, at first you're going to have the option on whether or not you want to use the stablecoin or whether or not you just want to continue to use your US dollars. But that stablecoin, which is one-to-one pegged by the US dollar, will eventually start to become the most, is going to become required for, important payments. Is going to be what you have to use. Same with this health technology, because in the video, they said that it's optional. What we're about to read about, they said that this technology, you don't have to use it. You don't have to use the app that they're going to administer, but eventually it's going to become the way. It's going to become how you have to do things, and anything else is going to be outdated and unable to be used. But let's read on. It says, for decades, America's healthcare networks have been overdue for a high-tech upgrade, and that's what we're doing. The existing systems are often slow, costly, and incompatible with one another, Trump said from the White House during the Wednesday afternoon event. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age, something that is absolutely vital. We've got to do it, moving from clipboards and fax machines into a new era of convenience, profitability, and speed, and frankly, better health for people. And, what they're banking on is that people is going to hear about this and think, oh, this is going to be a faster way to deal with, the doctors. I can use this technology and I won't have to do all these doctor's visits. I won't have to do all these extensive efforts, all this paperwork. This is going to be faster, more convenient, better. And it's going, a lot of people are going to feed into it. And like I mentioned, this is what Esau always does. He always says it's going to be more convenient. It's going to be an easier, easier way for the public. It's going to be, better for the people. And that's Esau coming with them lying wonders, because we read about it in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's start at verse 8, which says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. Who is the wicked? It's Esau, Edom, the elites of Esau as a nation. But we're specifically, most importantly talking about the elites, because they are who rules this world today. It says that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. In Malachi 1:4, it says, let's grab that real fast, which says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places, Edom being the so-called white people. It says, thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh had indignation forever. So when we come back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And how is Esau being consumed with the spirit of the Lord's mouth? Well, the prophets are out here revealing the very wicked people who is Esau by the way of the Holy Spirit, by the way of this truth going out. By us going out on the highways, us putting out these videos, revealing who Esau Edom is and revealing his plans and what he's doing. And eventually, it's going to be past us pulling down the strongholds by way of this truth. It's going to be past, the weapons of our warfare not being carnal, but Yahweh Shai is going to return with the angels and destroy this kingdom, destroy Esau's rulership. And that's what it's speaking about when it says that it shall, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. But let's read in verse 9. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. And so Esau is the physical counterpart of Satan. He's doing Satan's bidding here on the earth. And it says that he's, working with all power and signs and lying wonders. And these different technologies and these different miracles and, problem solvers that Esau is pushing upon the people. And eventually, we're going to start seeing it being rolled out on a very large scale. Those are part of those lying wonders. Those are the things that, feed into Esau's, miracles, and that he's going to be lying to the people with. But the whole time it's going to be so that he can fulfill his agenda and his enterprise of, putting that MOTB into, a majority of the people on this earth, But let's, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but let's just go ahead and get back into this article. The Lord willing, it comes back. But it says, the event announced, Salakia, it just came back, because what do the scriptures tell us about good health? The scriptures tell us that, let's go to the Apocrypha real fast. I believe it says like meat and diet. Yeah, okay. This is Sirach chapter 30, verse 25. It says, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. So this is one thing that it says in the scriptures when it comes to health and diet. It tells us that a cheerful heart is going to, take care of what they eat, take care of, what food they're intaking. And if Esau was really worried about our health, then we wouldn't be seeing commercials about McDonald's on our TV. We wouldn't be, all these fast food places and all these different, foods that are tainted in these stores, they wouldn't exist, or they wouldn't be continue to be perpetuated if Esau was really worried about our health. The scriptures say that let's grab this. It says in Sirach 38:4, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. The Lord has given us all the different medicines naturally that we need to take care of ourselves. And if Esau was really worried about our health, that is what he will push. But this technology is essentially for people to just be able to be linked to these hospitals and these doctors in an easier fashion. This AI that's being pushed by the Stargate project with this, this large AI infrastructure that's being built, it says by way of this AI, they're going to use it in the hospitals to where, essentially by way of the AI, they'll be able to give people vaccinations that are perfectly tied to their DNA. They're gonna, by way of this make America healthy again with this technology, they're gonna be able to, tell you what kind of medicines you need. They're gonna tell you what kind of diseases that you'll have before you get them. But by way of them doing that, they're not gonna tell you, what herbs you need to take, what tinctures you need to take. They're not gonna tell you those type of things. They're gonna tell you, this is what kind of vaccine you need to get. This is what you need to do to be healthy. And it's going to be, Esau's medicines, his doctoring, but not the Lord's way. But let's go back to the article. Let me see. It says the event announcing the Trump administration's plan to advance a next-generation digital health ecosystem was attended by representatives of companies including Apple, Google, Samsung, Amazon, OpenAI, Anthropic, Epic, Oracle, Athena Health, and Noom, who will be participating in the voluntary pledge aimed at improving health record sharing. And all these different companies are are linked in with this. Why? Because all these different companies are going to be tied within the MOTB technology. The MOTB isn't just going to be how we buy and sell, or I say we, Salakia. Lord willing, I don't be of, those people who take the MOTB. But what I mean to say is that the MOTB isn't just a system of buying and selling. The MOTB is going to be the centerpiece to society in general. The MOTB is what you're going to need to, go to the hospital. The MOTB is what you're going to need to use technology in general, to use Google, to, of course, buy and sell, to get your digital money, to buy and sell things. But this is going to be, in all society. This is going to be how you go to college, how you go to school. There's going to be what the prisoners use in their system, within the prison system. This is going to be in all aspects of society, which is why the scriptures say in Revelation 13:16 that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This is going to be for everybody in every walk of life. All these different aspects of technology that's getting pushed are all going to run by way of the MOTB system, which is going to be, censored by the RFID chip, But it says, for decades, bureaucrats and entrenched interests buried health data and blocked patients from taking control of their health, said RFK Jr. Says that ends today. We're tearing down digital walls, returning power to patients, and rebuilding a health system that serves the people. This is how we begin to make America healthy again. And they, going right ahead with for the people. It says the Trump administration is partnering with more than 60 companies to bolster how health information is shared electronically, including through the use of apps, and beef up the interoperability of health information networks, according to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. It says the apps aim to address issues including diabetes and obesity management and provide beneficiaries with AI assistance to walk through symptoms, provide care options, and assist with scheduling appointments. See, you're still going to be going to these hospitals. You're still going to be taking Esau's medicine. You're still going to be doing the same thing you did before, except now it's going to be by the use of this technology. And with this technology, you're not going to just be tracking your health. Esau is going to be tracking you. That's what the point of this technology is. It's to get closer and more ingrained with you. It's going to become a thing to where, like I mentioned, at first it's going to be an option on whether or not you want to opt in to use this technology instead. And that alone is going to get a lot of people to use it because it's only going to make sense, so to speak. But eventually it's going to be a thing to where if you want to get checked out at the hospital, you have to be tapped into this system. Therefore, you can't, it's if you want to go to the hospital, if you got a problem, you need to go to the doctor, you don't got no choice. But it says the, other functions that the technology aims to solve are providing digital check-ins to streamline services and cut down on paper intake forms. And this is how Esau operates. It's all about funneling everybody into his system. And it's the same thing that they're doing with the financial aspect of this technology, to where, they're phasing out cash, and they're going to make people have to use digital money. They're going to make people have to use the stable coin, which is on Esau's grid. When you use cash, you don't have to, you can do things under the table. You can, not be tapped into Esau's system in certain aspects. But with this digital money, Esau has more control over it. You have to, go through him, which gives him what? Control. It says it gives patients a sense of responsibility and allows them to measure the interventions if they change their diet, if they change their exercise. It can show you how many steps you took today. It can tell you if your glucose is spiking. And all of that information will now be available to American citizens. And all this information is already available. They're just they're just putting it on this new system that's under Esau's beast system, or his grid. It says the White House event is a follow-up to the request of information notice that the CMS posted in May. Let's read on a little bit. Says I believe this is the last. Yep. So it says the average Americans are tired. They're tired of waiting for a doctor's appointment. They're tired of waiting for the surprise of what your hospital bill is going to offer. That's being addressed. They're tired of waiting for access to their medical records. You own your medical records. They're yours. Why you can't have access to them is a stunning reality in modern day America. Oz continues. It says they're also tired of waiting for Washington to take action. And this president early on emphatically stated that wasn't going to happen anymore. And today we made that vision into a reality. And this quote that we're reading is from Dr. Oz. And Dr. Oz has publicly stated that he is on the side of administering RFID chips in people. He wants this technological push, and a lot of people are going to fall for this thing to where you don't got to wait no more. A lot of people are going to fall for this consolidation of all this information in an easy to digest way and an easier to use way. But we have to avoid this technology. We can't take this MOTB because the scriptures say, let's go to Revelation 14, verse 9 real fast, which says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And why is this such a grave, sin? Why is this such a wrong thing to do? Because with Esau pushing this MOTB, this isn't just a harmless thing that he's doing. What Esau is doing is that he's trying to pull people away from the Most High Yahweh, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. When you get this MOTB, you are completely, signing up with the image of the beast. You are completely signing up with Esau's way. And the image of the beast is completely contrary to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's image, the Most High's image. The image of the beast is rooted in Esau's wickedness and his way of life on how he thinks things should go. And Esau is going to trick and lie and ultimately force a lot of people to get this technology. Let's read Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to grab before we come here. Nope, that's good. We can grab this. And we'll end the lesson here soon. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Now, what are some of those miracles? Well, AI is one of those miracles, to where, like I mentioned, it didn't say it in the article, but it said it in the video, to where this AI and, based off of the health tracking that this technology is going to have, it'll be able to tell you in advance if something, if you're going to come down with some type of disease or some type of ailment. These miracles are, all the different abilities that the MOTB gives you, where paraplegics can live life as if, You know, they're regular, where the blind can see. You know, those who can't communicate can talk to their loved ones. These are the miracles that Esau is pushing, but it's in a wicked manner. It's on the left-hand side. It says, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And that image is the Greco-Roman way. The image is democracy. The image is Esau's science. The image is the LGBTQ agenda, women's rights, all these ideas that Esau pushes, you know, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And Esau is going to make it to where, you know, if you're not abiding within Esau's way of life, then you'll be ostracized from society, and worse than that, put to death. You know, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. You know, so the buying and selling is a huge aspect of it in and of itself, because what can you do if you can't buy anything? What can you do if you can't, you know, sell anything? What can you do if you can't go to the store and get what you need to get, or, you know, do what you need to do in you know, in your regular life? But again, it's not just buying and selling. It's going to be all these aspects of life. But everywhere we hear of Esau pushing for a technological advance and a more convenient, easier way, a better way for the people, it's not just money, and it won't just be health. We're going to hear about this in all different aspects of life, and it's all pushing toward this MOTB. And for us, believers in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we must have faith that the Lord is going to hold fast and on his promises that he made toward us, on his promises where it says to strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for us, on his promises that the scriptures say that, you know, if the Lord is going to feed the birds, and he's going to feed his servants, that, you know, let's grab this real fast. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13, which says, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed, because there's going to come a time of famine. Before we get all the way ingrained into the MOTB system, there's going to come a time to where when this current system crashes, there's going to be famine. There's going to be, you know, chaos. But why everybody on the outside that isn't covered by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going through it, is starving, is in danger, well, the Lord is going to be protecting his servants and making sure they eat, making sure that they are fed and drink and are safe. We have to read these scriptures and remember that the things that are written aforetime are written for our learning, to put away Esau and his miracles that he's going to push, and lean on the Lord's miracles. Lean on when manna rained from heaven. Lean on when Moses broke the rock and water came out of it. Lean on the different miracles that Yahweh Shai did, where he multiplied the bread and the fish. We're going to be seeing these different things happen in real time. But for those things to happen for us, it is going to require what? Faith. And it's going to require a great amount of faith, because as we come closer and closer to this system, it's going to seem more and more bleak. And that's where faith is going to come in. You know, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharachak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect.